control, speed, and power. Along with some swag.
Very nice.
Power laces, all right.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. Hopefully you've had a chance to see Black Panther this weekend. These are going to be my Easter eggs, obviously a whole bunch of Avengers, Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff that they crammed in there, but mostly Easter eggs from the Black Panther comics. Some really deep cuts for real-life Black Panther party stuff too. Be sure to subscribe to get everything if you're just finding me for the first time. There's so much Marvel stuff that's going to be happening between now and Infinity War, and there's an Infinity Gauntlet giveaway going on. I'll name a new winner at the end of this too. So just blanket spoiler warning for Black Panther if you have not seen it yet. I'll wait just a second. Okay, so here we go. So the movie picks up with a 1990s flashback, and it's a very Black Panther party Easter egg. The party has its roots in Oakland, but also Ryan Coogler himself is from Oakland, so he wanted to go back there and incorporate some of those ideas, like militarizing the Black Panther party in the oppressed peoples around the world, and sort of tie that into a more real-world message of Black Panther. So here's where we get into some really fun stuff though. You go into their apartment, there's an NWA poster on the wall. They were a really huge hip-hop group that embraced a lot of the ideals of the Black Panther Party. The young version of T'Chaka is wearing the older Marvel Knights version of the costume with the gold highlights from the Christopher Priest run. It was a very urban Black Panther story. It was him in New York City, so it makes sense that you have them in this urban setting that you would do a version of that. But even better, the actor that's playing young T'Chaka is the real-life son of the actor that plays the current version of T'Chaka. The opening credit sequence that explains the origins of vibranium actually shows us Captain America's plane crashing as it flies by during the World War II part of the history scene. Is really the entire history of the world that they show, from the dawn of early man to all the stuff that we've seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far in present day. But they also pay tribute to the very first Black Panther, which was actually in a comic book recently where they did the ancient version of the Avengers, where Odin was sort of the Thor of the team, along with the very first version of the Black Panther. The whole reason for King T'Chaka to go visit his brother in Oakland was because of that original Ulysses Claw heist, so it explains where he got the vibranium from that he sold to Ultron that they then teased would be given back to Black Panther eventually. So remember, there's still a lot of loose Sokovian vibranium in the world. But I think largely they sewed up that plot line at the end of the movie when they said that Black Panther would be working with the world to try and exchange technology. So if it wasn't clear, Black Panther's people do try to keep tabs on everyone in the world that has access to vibranium. But really sad to see Ulysses Claw go. Maybe they'll release that mixtape. Turns out he really is a musician. Really minor Stan Lee cameo, not quite as big as we expected. I'll just take that and put it over here. Not quite as big as the Guardians of the Galaxy cameo. I'm expecting them to top that for Infinity War and Avengers 4. I'm assuming that they've filmed all of Stan Lee's cameos back to back. They said that because of his advanced age, a lot of times they'll just have him film a bunch of green screen scenes and then just insert those into the movies later on. We got a Namor reference from the comics for everybody hoping that they use him for the sequel. When he takes Claw in and says, "Every breath you take is mercy from me," that's actually directly lifted from a Black Panther versus Namor moment in the comics. Really early on, that freaky mask that Killmonger wears is actually made to look like the mask that the character in the comics wears. Obviously much more tribal in the comics, they changed his origin story quite a bit. Originally, the name Killmonger was just something that he chose for himself. He did go to school in the United States in the comics, but his father had been originally forced to fight for Ulysses Claw when he was trying to invade Wakanda and steal all their vibranium. They were fought off. Black Panther's father exiled all of the people who rebelled against him, and that's how Killmonger's family wound up in the United States. So he grew up there and vowed revenge for the disgrace to his family. Felt like it was totally okay that the movie changed that to turn him into more of a Hamlet Lion King type character. But speaking of character changes, obviously M'Baku just completely omitted the man-ape origin of the character in the comics. The only small references that they make to that are calling him the Great Gorilla. He wears an ape mask made to look just like the one that he wears in the comics when he's fighting Black Panther earlier in the film, and the entrance to his palace is carved to look like that of an ape. So that's about as close as they get to that for obvious reasons. Pretty sure everybody picked up on that Back to the Future reference when she gives him the sneakers, just like Michael J. Fox's sneakers from Back to the Future 2. Apparently Black Panther's father was a huge fan of those movies. Also, pretty sure everybody detected that the broken white boy that Shuri was talking about was Winter Soldier. Great, another broken white boy for me to fix. I'm hoping that Vision is another broken white boy in the next movie. I made a reference about that during my Avengers video, and I'm not sure people understood what I was talking about. But I've already done a couple videos explaining how she fixed his mind, but effectively, he is back to normal. She'll give him a vibranium arm, and they're calling him the White Wolf, which is probably one of the bigger Easter eggs. Hopefully Sebastian Stan signs a new Marvel contract and they can use him in future Marvel sequels, but he does seem like he's down to do that. So maybe White Wolf in Black Panther 2. The movie changed a little bit about Black Panther's powers, the heart-shaped herb, and the Djalia. The way the movie depicted it, it's really of your own creation. It's sort of this psychic area that you just travel into, and it's just made to look like the place that you're thinking about the most. So that's why Killmonger goes back to the place where his father died, and why Black Panther meets his father amidst all these acacia trees. And if it wasn't clear, those other panthers in the tree are the spirits of previous versions of Black Panther. So in the comics, he's the king of the dead. He can speak to the previous versions of Black Panther and get advice from them. This is the movie's way of invoking that. The first time that he talks to his father, they stay Panthers. When he goes back the second time to talk to his father and ask him why he left Killmonger behind as a child, you see them all in human form. The reason why they're all male is because they're all the previous Black Panthers. This is how I think it's possible they can bring Killmonger back in the second film, because they're pretty clear that he wanted to die at the end of the last film, so unless Black Panther defied his wishes and threw him into cold storage to heal him, he's gonna be dead. But here's the thing, because he had taken in the heart-shaped herb and communed with the Panther goddess, so it's possible that Black Panther could go to the spirit plane and speak to Killmonger's spirit, and that's how you bring Michael B. Jordan back. Because he was a fantastic character, maybe they'll find a way to incorporate him, maybe in a flashback. There's just a number of ways they could accomplish that. There were a couple more iconic comic book panels when Killmonger tosses Black Panther over the falls. That's right out of the comics. Also when Black Panther is charging on the rhinos. I know everybody wants to see those come back during Infinity War. And then like I said, the Marvel Knights version of the costume in that 90s flashback. They also kind of did the same thing with the more modern version of the costume that Killmonger wore towards the end of the film. Big Disneyland, big Coachella shout out at the end of the film. There's only theories at this point that Black Panther is the person who bought Stark Tower because that was being sold at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. New tenant moving in, but remember, timeline explainer, Black Panther takes place about a week after Captain America Civil War. The events of Spider-Man Homecoming take place several months after that. So if you don't know when Civil War happened, that was during the summer because it was his summer retreat with the Avengers. And that Homecoming dance is usually something that happens around October for most people in the United States. So the end of Black Panther takes place a couple months before the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. So don't worry, we'll do more timeline explainers as we get closer to Infinity War, because the movies don't take place one right after the other in the timeline anymore. The other real big comic book Easter egg is when they talk about how they lied and say Ulysses Klaue stole all their vibranium. You told us that it was all gone and you didn't have any more. Dr. Doom, Ulysses Klaue, and Thanos himself, all on separate occasions, tried to take all of Wakanda's vibranium. There was a time in the comics when Black Panther was forced to render all vibranium in the world inert on a more permanent basis. And for those of you asking, there actually is vibranium in the Savage Land, but remember, we don't have the X-Men characters yet, so as of right now in the MCU, the only place you can get it is inside the borders of Wakanda. But let me know in the comments if you spotted any other Easter eggs that I didn't mention in the video. What'll happen is I'll be doing more Avengers, more Black Panther related stuff in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, as we head towards Infinity War and Deadpool 2, there's going to be so much stuff dropping. So if there are any special videos that you want me to do, just let me know in the comments. Congratulations to the latest giveaway winner, JMV. Please private message me so I can get your contact details. There was a new round on this video. I'll just name a winner when I post new Marvel. Click here to learn about all the Infinity Gems after Black Panther, and click here for my Black Panther post-credits scene video. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.